The diplomatic hall of Station Kepler 7 had seen its share of heated negotiations, but nothing quite like this. Commander Varick's scales rippled with iridescent rage, his crest fully extended as he loomed over the conference table. His species, the Krathzan, were known across 3 sectors for their military prowess and their particularly explosive tempers. Sarah sat quietly in her chair, hands folded on the table, expression unchanged. She had dealt with worse than an angry reptilian officer throwing a tantrum about supply routes. "Your species has no right," Varick's voice reverberated through the chamber, his translator struggling to keep pace with his fury. "You waltz onto our stations, claim jurisdiction over trade lanes that have been ours for 3 generations, and expect us to simply—" He never finished the sentence. 2 small forms emerged from beneath Sarah's chair, moving with the fluid grace of apex predators despite their diminutive size. The cubs, no larger than Earth house cats, stepped between Sarah and the towering Krathzan commander, their crystalline eyes fixed on Varick with an intensity that made several other delegates shift uncomfortably in their seats. One of them, the smaller one with silvered fur, tilted its head with mechanical precision. When it spoke, its voice carried the innocent curiosity of youth mixed with something far more ancient. "Should we bite off the loud part?" The second cub, darker with streaks of amber through its coat, mirrored the head tilt. "Yes, the part that makes the bad sounds. It disturbs Mother Sarah." The temperature in the room seemed to drop several degrees. Varick's crest flattened immediately. His secondary eyelids flickered closed and open again, a Krathzan expression of pure shock. Every other delegate around the table had gone perfectly still, including Ambassador Thelnox, whose gelatinous body had actually stopped its usual rhythmic pulsing. "Are those," Ambassador Thelnox's translator barely whispered, "are those Zerathi cubs?" Sarah finally looked up, her expression shifting to something almost apologetic. "Yes, I should have mentioned. I'm their designated guardian while their mother completes the hunting trials of Andromeda Sector." The words hung in the air. Like a death sentence, everyone in the known galaxy understood what the Zerathi were. They weren't the strongest species, nor the most technologically advanced. They were, quite simply, the most perfectly evolved predators the universe had ever produced. A single adult Zerathi could hunt and kill a Krathzan battle squad. They could phase through solid matter, perceive across multiple dimensions, and moved faster than most species' combat drones. And their young were fiercely, lethally protective of those they imprinted on. Commander Varick took a careful step backward, his aggressive posture melting into something resembling a bow. I apologize. I did not mean to disturb the honored human. My passion for my people's interests overcame my manners." The smaller cub's head straightened, though its eyes never left Varick. The loud one apologizes. "This is acceptable." Sarah reached down and gently scratched behind what might have been the cub's ears, if Zerathi had such conventional anatomy. "Yes, little one." The commander was just expressing his concerns. "We do that with words, remember? Loud words aren't always bad words." "But they made your heart rhythm increase," the darker cub observed, stepping closer to Sarah's leg. "We felt it. The fear chemical was in your air." "Adrenaline," Sarah corrected gently. "And yes, but that's just how humans respond to surprises. Commander Varick didn't mean to frighten me." "Did you, Commander?" Varick's translator took a moment longer than usual to process his response, as if even the machine was being extra careful. "No, absolutely not. I hold nothing but the highest respect for Envoy Sarah and her wards." Ambassador Thelnox chose that moment to interject, their diplomatic instincts apparently recovering. "Perhaps we should take a brief recess. Allow everyone to recalibrate their approach to these discussions." "I think that's wise," Sarah agreed, standing slowly so as not to startle anyone. The cubs moved with her, flanking her with the precision of trained bodyguards, though no one had trained them. It was simply instinct, ancient, perfect, and absolutely terrifying to everyone else in the room. As the delegates filed out with varying degrees of haste, Ambassador Thelnox approached Sarah with what might have been admiration in their oscillating voice. "You never cease to amaze, Envoy. Of all the species in the Galactic Council, only humans would accept guardianship of Zerathi young." Sarah smiled, watching as the cubs investigated a decorative plant in the corner with intense fascination. "They needed someone, and I volunteered. Besides, they're not so different from Earth children. Curious, protective, trying to understand a complex universe. Earth children don't offer to bite off body parts," Thelnox observed dryly. You've clearly never been to a human playground, Sarah replied with a wink. The darker cub returned to Sarah's side, looking up at her with those crystalline eyes that could perceive across dimensions most species couldn't even theorize about. Did we do wrong, Mother Sarah? The others seem afraid. Sarah knelt down, meeting the cub at its level. No, you did exactly what your instincts told you to do. Protect your family. But remember what I taught you about proportion? Not every threat requires teeth. Only the really bad ones? The smaller cub asked hopefully. Only the really bad ones, Sarah confirmed, unable to suppress her smile. Commander Varric was watching from the doorway, his earlier rage completely extinguished. He approached slowly, keeping his movements deliberate and non-threatening. When he was close enough, he executed a formal Krathsan bow, the kind reserved for royalty. Envoy Sarah, I formally request your forgiveness. I allowed my emotions to override my judgment. It will not happen again. Apology accepted, Commander, Sarah said, extending her hand in the human gesture of peace. After a moment's hesitation, Varric took it, his scaled hand dwarfing hers. The cubs watched the exchange with rapt attention, their heads tilting in unison again. So when humans show teeth like that, the smaller one said, it means friendship, not hunting. Exactly, Sarah confirmed. It's called a smile. Humans are very confusing, the darker cub declared with absolute certainty. Commander Varric's crest rippled with what his species used for laughter. On that, young one, the entire galaxy agrees. As they prepared to resume negotiations, now with significantly more civility, Sarah couldn't help but reflect on the strange path that had led her here. Humanity had joined the Galactic Council as one of the younger, weaker species. They had no natural armor, no enhanced senses, no remarkable physical traits. But they had something else, a peculiar ability to befriend the unfriendable, to see potential family where others saw only danger. And sometimes, that was the most terrifying advantage of all. The cubs settled at her feet as the session resumed, silent guardians who had made their position crystal clear, hurt their human, and they would discover exactly how sharp young Zerathi teeth could be. Commander Varric never raised his voice again.